What is up? Welcome to Ched Talk. I am uh, Brian Rago, aka Cheese Talk and Cheese Talk
You
Podcast.
forgot who you were?
I've been called several different things in my lifetime, and I like to go with Brian. That's the simplest to explain to people. And I am joined with Iowa Joe from Ohana Packers Network, Open Network, and we are going to be breaking down the highlights and lowlights of today's Packers and Jaguars game. It's kind of an ugly one.
Considering who they were playing, yes, very much so.
And they were talking about how the Jaguars just got their weapons back, and throughout the game, the weapons slowly left the game. But Brian Thomas, after that touchdown, landed on the ball awkward and lower abdomen or lower upper body, whatever injury. And then Christian Kirk looked like he could have separated his shoulder by the way he landed and the way he was laying there holding his arm. What do you think?
I think there were way too many injuries towards the end of the game, period. Because not only did Jordan go out earlier, but then Jair looked like he could have cramped or tweaked something on the Evan Ingram touchdown. Josh Jacobs looked like he was
Limping.
banged up a bit. So, yeah, it definitely was not good. I want to say somebody else went out with like a hamstring. Oh, Evan Williams, the safety,
Yeah.
went out with a hamstring injury, which is number 2 for the year, Brian.
I just had to talk about it on my podcast Friday, and here it's coming to haunt me now. You know?
Yeah, so I don't know if it was just the heat, if it was, what it was, but both sides were getting hit hard by the injuries towards the later part of the game.
Yeah, Trevor. I don't know how to read Trevor Lawrence. Like, he was good in college, and he has his good games and bad games. He had a bad first half or bad first few drives. They had like 4 straight 3-and-outs. And the next thing you know, they're coming back like an all-pro quarterback. It's just I don't know what's going on in Jacksonville.
Now, this is going to make a lot of people mad because it's been commonplace to call him a bad player and a bust and all that stuff, but it really looks like this defense was missing Quay today because they couldn't stop the run very well. And then once they started concentrating on the run, they were letting Lawrence light him up. See, can I do this or do you have to do it? Yeah, you must
Comments?
do it since. Yeah. True North, a win is a win. Yeah, that's the truth. Not going to take anything from them. A win is a win, but you got to also worry about the long-term effects of this win. What are the injuries going to do? It looks like the Jaguars kind of found the weakness of this defense, and hopefully going into Detroit next week, it's not going to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, I before I left for the afternoon to my son's soccer, I had a post saying that Love was going to carve up the Jaguars secondary, which he didn't have the chance to because he came on. He did decent, but he threw a pick. And then Cooper was going to shine today. He had that forced fumble on Trevor Lawrence. And I said McKinney was going to have an interception. So two out of 3 isn't bad.
Yeah, but the sad truth about Cooper is, yes, he had that great play, but there were also some plays that he kind of struggled with. So he's dealing with a little bit of the rookie stuff. But like I said, the whole run defense looked like it was missing Quay. And I know that's not a popular opinion right now just because everybody seems to love to bag on him, but it is what it is. It's a victory. Again, let's hope that throughout the week we'll learn a little bit more about the injuries and they're nothing serious going in against Detroit. But Mike and I were talking about this, and I know Carlos did an article for the website about it. I just hope they weren't looking past Jacksonville because, yeah, Jacksonville isn't great, but on paper, they have the playmakers.
Right.
Uh, Thomas scared the hell out of me coming into this because he just looks like uh, more inch this season, McKinney or Love. Right now, it's looking like Love.
He has what, 10? I think he had 9 going into today's game. Then he threw that one.
He had 8, so it has to be 9 today.
Right. So yeah,
Because he was tied with Mahomes for receptions, and they were both at 8. But right now, it's looking like Love over McKinney. We talked about this on the Thursday preview Mike and I did. Yeah, you don't want to have him change up his game style too much, but he's on pace for 27 interceptions for the year. Now, while he won't hopefully hit that mark, that's a scary thing because that's more than Brett Favre ever threw in a season.
yeah,
And Brett Favre was the king of touchdown interceptions. And I don't want to go back to I don't want him to end up like Rodgers where he's holding on to the ball too long and he's afraid to throw it to this area. But I also don't want to go back to the Favre era where it's 50-50. It's either going to be a touchdown or interception, and you have to live and die by the touchdown interception stuff.
right.
And because that killed too many games in the Favre era where, okay, we're doing good in interception. We're doing good, interception. And that kind of, with Love's interception today, was the way he was feeling because he was trying to force the ball into a situation he shouldn't have forced it into.
Yeah, there's that meme going around with like Love on or Rodgers on one shoulder and Favre on the other. It's Jordan Love.
Yeah.
I guess in a way, it's gonna sound selfish, but I'd rather if he throws them, oh well. But this hopefully we win the game. If we win the game, I can deal with them because now we've shown their defense they're like a bend, but they don't break. You know, they make some mistakes, but in the end, they come up big for our team. You know,
all defenses are bend don't break because of the rule sets by the NFL anymore, because you got to be careful of how you hit them, where you hit them, and all that stuff. So it is a bend don't break. It's just how much are they going to bend? You know, is it going to be a rubber band style defense where they stretch as far as they can get? Or is it going to be, I don't know, what's a good, I don't even know a good opposite end, but, you know, you just don't want them to be, you don't want to have to put them in the position to have to continuously win your game because your quarterback is making decisions he probably shouldn't be making.
true.
And again, like Mike and I were talking, eventually your defense is going to get wore out, pissed off, because you're going to have issues where your defense goes out, gets a 3 and out, and they're riding high on it, and your offense steps out there for the first play, and we get an interception, and the defense has to go right back out. So they get no breather, they get no water break, they don't even get to go over stuff with their position coaches, and eventually you're going to wear out your defense something fierce. And like I said, I'm not against Jordan Love. I think he's going to be the quarterback for the Packers for the longest time. He's got to clean up these mistakes. And I know he said that, oh, well, I'm not going to change how I play. A little bit you got to change how you play, because when you're to the point of when you get to the point where you're going to throw an interception that's going to cost you a game, that's when you got to change your stuff. So just a little bit of cleanup, a little bit of you know, holding the ball a little bit longer than maybe you should, but it should be. Let's just hope the injury is not severe. I know they said it wasn't the knee again; he was out with a groin injury, so that's a little bit better news than what a lot of us figured. But maybe it also could be that the because having the brace really messes you up a little bit, and maybe it's overcompensation of the bad knee.
Yeah. Well, and also that hit that he took from behind, he wasn't expecting that, and it kind of threw him off, and his body just reacted differently, and that's when it happened, you know.
Yeah.
So
So, but no, overall the game was the offense did decent. Uh, obviously Josh Jacobs looked really well, or really good, not really well. Uh, so it, he was 25 carries, 127 yards. He averaged 5.1 with 2 touchdowns. And that's kind of the thing that you want out of your bell cow running back is, a high average, high amount. And of course, they had to rely on him a little bit more when Jordan went down. But I even thought Malik looked decent coming in on, short notice. So, not saying there's a quarterback controversy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's a quarterback controversy. But it is good to know that you have a reliable backup if need be.
yeah, the one thing that always gets me, like when we had Malik Willis, for those 2 games that he started for us after Love got hurt, it's like the opposing team knew that chances are we're going to run the ball, and they still couldn't stop us. Today, he comes in and they run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. They become successful. You haven't seen much of, was it Jaden Reed? They had that catch on the sideline. The next thing you know, it's like a play action. And he's wide open. They thought we were going to run the ball, and then we threw him off by throwing that play action pass to Reed. So
Well, that's what I was saying about the Iowa game yesterday. Was everybody knows for the University of Iowa that they're going to run the ball because they're not comfortable with the quarterback that they've got back there, and their running back is one of the top in the nation. So the best way to beat defenses is run the play action. Well, if Jordan Love is down again, and I think also what helps Malik is he's a little bit more mobile uh, than Jordan is. Jordan can move, but he moves more like a Rodgers than anything else. Malik is your more mobile style quarterback, so you can't continuously stop one or the other because he's going to either throw it or he's going to run it, and it's we'll see. Like I said, we just got to get out of it and see what happens this week with Jordan. If it's bad enough, don't force it because the Lions defense is going to eat them alive. But that's looking ahead.
Yeah, go figure, right? Going to one of the biggest games on the schedule. Well, so far for us, we might not have Jordan Love, but it's where you put your trust in your backup.
Right. So while we're sitting here just chatting away, if anybody's watching and they got any questions or anything, go ahead and drop them in the feed. Obviously this is our first time doing this style of video going live post game, but
we're on a new streaming platform as well. So we're still getting used to all the things. I'm pretty sure you can play sound effects too, right?
Yeah. Well, I can't because you've got the
that could be scary. You got an air horn, crowd applause.
All right, so let's go over some of the who is your player of the game?
I would say early on, it's hard because Tucker Kraft had huge. He had 2 huge catches. He had that one that he just kept on going. He cut across the field and kind of went up. That was kind of early to mid game, and then end of the game when Malik replaced Jordan Love. Malik came in like he didn't miss a step from when he played earlier this year for when Jordan got hurt.
So who you
and McManus. McManus, for sure.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to cause controversy on that one because I'm not a big McManus fan as is, but he did his job, and we'll just call it good on that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
who are you selecting for your player then?
Kraft.
Okay, I am going to go with. I think I'm going to go with Jacobs just because he's starting to get into that groove of what we had hoped for when the Packers signed him. The bell cow, the guy that you can rely on. He's got that jump step to him. He's got that wiggle to him. He's got the ability, and we're starting to see it more now. And so he's my player of the game.
I love cheese and football too. Muscle cramps. I don't like muscle cramps though.
And as we're getting older, they're coming more and more often. That's for sure.
Yeah. McKinney did good too, but
he did well. But the Packers want to know in the Saleh era. Shut up, True North. We don't need that controversy on us. I thought the secondary struggled a lot, and I don't know if it was because of defensive scheme or what, because they seem to go more into a zone type. And I'm not an analyst by any means. That's why I have Mike for my co-host on our normal shows. Well, that's obvious.
they're getting there. Even though they're doing decent, they still suck.
But it just seemed like they were leaving guys wide open, and that allowed Lawrence to get in there, and because he ended up with 308 passing yards, so that's not great. I mean, they were able to hold the run down a little bit. They only gave up 91 total rushing yards, but that's still not great when you're allowing 78 to one single player. But I wish this team would become one cohesive unit. We just get this one cohesive unit game in and game out, and the last couple weeks it's been those heart attack games.
Yeah. Well, and another good thing that you look at it this way. I mean, they came down. I was thinking, with any quarterback the last 30 years, you come down and tie the game or go up by 2 points with anything over a minute to go in the game, we're going to come back down and score. Favre did it. Rodgers did it. Now, I mean, Malik Willis did it. As far as being the leader of a team going downfield, and I think that the Jaguars scored too quick on that to give the Packers that much time to come down and win the game, especially with 2 timeouts left. The Jaguars had 2 timeouts left.
They did, but I think they had to because they tied it. So they were going to have to hope that they could get the ball back to be able to. I don't think they were playing for overtime. I think they were playing to win it. And the only way they would have been able to win it is if there was enough time on the clock with their timeouts to be able to force. I think they had hoped that they could force Malik Willis into making a mistake or holding him to a 3 and out, and that would have got them the ball back with enough time and the 2 timeouts on that they could go back down the field and score again. So in a way, yeah, they scored too much, but you're thinking of it they scored with too much time on the clock, but your thought process is a little bit like mine, play for the overtime. And I don't think they were playing for the overtime. I think they were playing for the win.
Yeah. I figured they'd come down and at least try to score. They didn't capitalize early on either. when they had a chance to. They could have blown the game wide apart. I mean, in my opinion, in the second quarter.
I think that's you talking the Packers could have or the
Yeah,
yeah, and I think that goes to the Love injury. Maybe Love should have went out a little bit sooner if it was really ailing him that much, but that's the tenacity with him and wanting to be out there for his team. But it is what it is. And they did have a lot of chances too, but that's where you go back to and you live and die on the wow factor with Jordan Love's arm. He can make some plays, but he's going to also make some mistakes.
right. Yeah, I mean, in end of the day, a win's a win. Like if we would have played like we played today against, say, like the Lions, they would. I mean, they trounced the Titans today. Was it 52?
Yeah, but who hasn't
16?
trounced the Titans?
Right, but I'm just saying though, it's like the Lions are a good team. If we would have played if we play the Lions like we played today, I don't think we're coming out with a victory in that game.
And that's the truth. I just that's why I said we've got to go through the week and see how the injuries pan out. Most likely Quay will be back because he was practicing this week. He just must not have been able to fully pass the concussion protocol. Let's see where Jair's sitting at with his injury. Let's see where Evan Williams is at with his injury. And, hopefully it's nothing too major with Jacobs, that it's not going to be a lingering thing.
Did they come out and say a punishment for Jameson Williams? For the Lions?
Last time I heard it was a 2-game suspension.
Did that
know if,
start yet? Because that would be huge next week if he wasn't in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure next week he won't. This week and next week, I'm pretty sure he's out.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or I don't know. Did he play today?
I didn't watch. I have no idea. I just saw that they're crushing the.
Because if he played today, that must mean it's in what should we
Appeals?
call it? Yeah, appeals.
Trying to read up here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he played today, so he must not be appealing it, and he'll be out today and next week.
Yeah.
So, which I don't think it matters, but it doesn't matter. It matters because that's one deep threat that they don't have to worry about, but it doesn't matter because they still have enough weapons over there that it worries me.
Yeah, St. Brown and yeah, it's Gibbs and Montgomery and
I mean, look at what just the quote unquote weapons of Jacksonville today did with the Packers defense. So they've really got to step their game up.
Yeah. Yeah, Evan Ingram, he didn't do squat in the first half, and then all of a sudden, second half, his cape came on, and he was everywhere making big plays.
And he really didn't have that big a game stat-wise. 4 receptions on 5 targets for 36 yards and the 1 touchdown.
Yeah, but he.
They were just letting him get open. That's why I said this soft coverage was really eating him alive.
Yeah, I don't understand why they just didn't seem to be playing at 100% today in defense, and it was you could tell by watching the game, The Bears still losing. Huh?
He's my analyst.
Was that Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I was at my son's soccer game and pretty windy up here, and I had my Aeropex head whatever on, and for all talking to me. I'm like talking super loud because I'm watching the game and I can't differentiate like a quiet voice when I have earphones on. I'm like, what? Yeah. Yeah, it's 6-0 the Commanders so far uh over the Bears.
Yeah, going back to this game, the special teams even had a little bit of struggle. That punter for the Jaguars was really nailing them inside the 20. He had two inside the 20.
That one was like on the 3-yard line. It's like a
Yeah.
73-yard punt. That's crazy.
And I mean, the best punter ever, Daniel Whelan, was even booming him. He had a 63-yarder himself.
The best punter ever.
Well, I like the nickname Celtic Cannon, but it doesn't seem to be gaining any traction. So
the Celtic Cannon. That's yeah. That could be a t-shirt idea.
it could be, but like I said, the nickname's not really gaining traction. So if it starts gaining traction, we'll get it figured out.
Have a picture of a cannon shooting out 4-leaf clovers.
Either that or just a picture of him, like a silhouette of him in mid kick, and then have the clovers coming out of like the foot.
He, even though that one play got called back, that one time that punt in the end zone where he jumped like 15 feet in the air to get the ball, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was crazy. He has crazy hops.
Oh, I forgot Stokes, they said, went out of the game today too.
Yeah, and Valentine went in for him, or Valentine. I get those two mixed up.
Valentine was out. He wasn't active today. But I thought even Eric Stokes was looking pretty good when they put him in man coverage. He kind of shut down Brian Thomas for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but did they say what he went out with? Stokes?
I don't remember. I don't know if they said or not. We'll have to find out later when they start talking a little bit more of that stuff.
Right.
All right, well, we're not going to go too much longer. We just want to do a quick post-game talk here. So like I said, if anybody's watching and they got any kind of questions, drop them in the chat now. We already did our player of the game. Do you want to do like game balls, who you're giving an offense, defense game ball to?
Salah.
It didn't help him.
I don't know. Probably Jacobs. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, correct?
Yes.
I'd give
127 yards.
He came in. He did what we brought him in to do.
And I'd probably give offensive-wise, honestly, I offensive-wise, I'd give Malik Willis a game ball just because he was able to come in and, really didn't look like he missed too much of a beat. Taking over for Love after injury. And then on the defensive side, probably McKinney. I mean, yeah, they did struggle a little bit in the secondary, but he did have the interception and he did have he did make some plays. So he's been a real boon for this defense. So those are my 2 game balls for the day.
Yeah, even like McKinney, speak on that quick. Even if the defender or the guy, the offense got the ball to the receiver within his area, he closed the gap quick on him. So he's definitely one that's going to get better and better with every game. So, but yeah, we'll like Joe said earlier in the podcast, this is our first episode doing the Ched talk, and it'll improve next time. We'll be on after the Lions game next next Sunday it's a 3:30 game, correct?
Sure. I don't know. I haven't looked ahead yet.
I gotta look at my podcast schedule. I might. Anyways, we'll figure it out down the road.
We'll be a little bit more professional the next time around.
Malik for MVP and Salah for coach. Yes, we gotta get True North on one of our shows.
I don't want True North on one of my shows. What are you talking about? He's got to stay in the comments where he's good. He's good entertainment. But Malik for MVP, I can be behind because this is a kid that went from being completely shat on in Tennessee to now he's become a solid backup in Green Bay, and he's already 3-0 when he's come in and played. So, or no, I guess he's 3-1 because he had 2 plays in the Eagles game.
Yeah, but I think this offseason he could become the highest paid backup quarterback.
I think he's still got a year on his contract, so there's
maybe we'll extend him.
I don't know.
I would.
Really, it all depends on what he wants to do.
Yeah.
If he wants to sit around and be the backup, then pay him whatever he wants to be backup. But, most guys who go into the NFL want to be a starter somewhere. And, if he wants to start, obviously it's going to have to be on a different team.
Go to the Browns.
For one, there's no way they're going to trade Jordan Love's contract. And for 2, I think if Jordan can clean up some of the shit that he's supposed to have been cleaning up for the last 4 or 5 years, I think he can be the next big quarterback of the Packers.
Yeah. Like you said earlier in the show, the knee brace I think has kind of affected him too, more than we. And then the heat. It is what it is. It's elements of the game,
I just know from my experience when I had my knee surgery back in high school, you overcompensate when you've got that issue with the knee. And if with the brace on, now he thinks he's got a little bit more freedom, so he's overextending and it can lead to different injuries.
Yep.
So, it is what it is. Like I said, we won't find out till Wednesday is usually when they start talking injury reports. So we'll find out then. But yeah, I suppose we probably should just wrap this up, and we'll work on next week's a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll definitely get an intro and outro. We'll have different segments of we'll have it laid out, mapped out and everything to where we're not just bombarding each other with random questions.
Right. So just to kind of finish out, you can find Brian's show, Cheese Talk Pod on YouTube. You can find Mike and I's show, Ohana Packers Edition, on anywhere you find your favorite podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher's not a thing anymore. I think we're on iHeart. Anywhere you pretty much get your favorite podcast. Subscribe, drop us some comments. Let us know how we're doing. Good or bad, as Mike would say, let us know how we're doing. Go over to the website, ohanapackers.org. Find our latest articles, our past episodes. Find our merch store. Go support us, buy some merch. As I got scrolling across the bottom here, we still are working on a fundraiser over at the Open Network. We have shirts designed for cancer awareness and military appreciation. The money made off of those shirts will be donated to a couple different organizations. So please go over, help us support a good cause. And I think that's about it. Is there anything else you got to plug?
Yeah, no, on X, I'm at Cheese Talk _pod. And like you said on YouTube, I'm Cheese Talk Podcast, all one word. Cheese, the spelled with a Z. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go.